Alrighty, what's up, gents? How to get another beer? Rotos the Lost Groom how-to gear guide. This champion, this is one of my first legendaries I've ever got on this account. Probably one of my favorite champions, actually. He's just such a cool guy. He was nerfed a little bit ago, almost like a year or so ago, but he's still good. He's still really good. I just did a video on 2 Rotos, 1 Siffy. Siffy just makes this guy insane in PvP and PvE, honestly, with Doom Tower. But this guy is cool, so we're going to do a how-to gear guide with this dude. It's going to be short, quick, easy, to-the-point guide. We're going to go over gear sets that would be good on him if you're newer, mid, or end-game players, where you're going to be using them, and also what his best gear sets are. So starting off, let's go over his skills. And kind of this tells us exactly what kind of gear sets we want to put on him. So this one's not fully booked out, but we do have the A1 or A2 and A3, which is booked out, which are probably his hardest hitting ones. Passive doesn't need any books, so he doesn't need a lot of books on this guy, so it's pretty good. Attacks one enemy, 75% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense, so he put decreased defense on anybody, which is cool. Also 25% chance of granting an extra turn, so 25% chance of granting an extra turn on an A1. That is insane. So right there, he used to be the best with Relentless. Relentless set is a chance to grant an extra turn, so you would see this guy go 3-4 times in a row because this also grants an extra turn as well. So there's just so many ways to proc extra turns with Rotos. That Relentless set is super fun and very good on this guy. So that's his A1. Now A2 is very unique. All of his attacks are based off attack and HP, which is also unique. But attacks one enemy, decreases the target HP by 20%, then adds HP to this champion, his own HP. It's almost like he steals but doesn't steal. Max HP. So basically he increases his max HP up to 60,000. That's huge. If he's starting at 20, 30,000, he can get up to 90,000 HP, which has one of the best passes in the entire game, which we'll go over. Doesn't work on bosses. Oh, he can increase max HP on bosses, and 15,000 when the skill is used against bosses. So he can increase it by 15,000 against bosses. So 2-turn cooldown, guys. 2-turn cooldown on this skill. Then he has a A3, which hits really hard. Attacks one enemy, will ignore 60% of the target's defense. Will also ignore, this was very good, unkillable. So anytime that new gear set that people have, that proc unkillable, he ignores it. Unkillable and block damage buff, so both. Just gets around that spell so easily. Enemies killed by this skill cannot be revived if he's at his max HP from this skill. So if he got up to the 60,000 max HP, he's very good for Ice Golem. Then it procs the block revive. So this used to be OP when he first came out because it just did block revive if he killed somebody. So he would just run up, kill their DPS, couldn't bring it back, and then you get an extra turn, which then he would do this right afterwards. So if he kills somebody, he gets an extra turn. But yeah, this ignores 60% of the defense. So you're ignoring a shit ton of defense, almost 100% if you have the mastery for Helm Smasher. So Helm Smasher would ignore 25%, so 50% chance to ignore 25, so you got 85%, and then with Savage, that's another 25%. So basically you're ignoring over 100% of their defense. Innately, it's 85% with Savage set and the skill. So he ignores all of your defense. It's pretty cool. So that's his skills. His passive, again, is one of the best in the game. Will decrease damage from enemy hits so that the incoming damage from a single attack will not exceed 50% of the target's max HP. Grants an extra turn if the damage reduction occurs. So if it procs his damage reduction, he gets to grant an extra turn. So basically it interrupts a lot of people. It does not work against bosses. Decrease the damage taken from bosses by 15%. Decrease the damage taken from bosses by 30% if Siffy the loss. So that's why Siffy is such a good pair with him. But you can't one-shot him. Like any major attack that goes in and just hits him, knocks him to 50% of his HP. So then he'll proc the extra attack, which then he runs up and just does this and kills somebody, or does this, which if he does this, he like heals himself increases his HP, so then it pushes him back above that 50% threshold. So next turn, if somebody else hits him one more time, he still doesn't die. It's just such, it works against bosses. So it does not work against bosses when it comes to like, what's it called? Will not exceed 50% of enemy max HP. So I think it works against the Griffin. So I don't know why it says it doesn't work against bosses. Maybe decrease the damage from enemies hit. I don't know. Whatever it may be. So this is just awesome. Like, this guy is so cool. So gear sets that are gonna be good for him. If you're in the beginning part of the game and you got this guy, then you're gonna be kind of looking for any relentless sets that you can possibly get from tournament. So I think a relentless set in the beginning of the game would be the best for this guy to achieve. He's really good with a lot of HP. So obviously the HP set, offensive set, he's attack and HP type champion. So I've noticed with him, we kind of want middle of both. Like, if you can get HP and attack, kind of like 50-50, he'll be really good. That's kind of what you're aiming for. Defense, not so much. Speed, if you need the speed, but not really going to be priority. Crit rate, you definitely want him to get 100% crit rate. Like, you want him to crit every single time he attacks. Basically ignoring 60% innately from his skill of defense. You're going to want him to crit, because if he does kill somebody, he then procs an extra turn. Crit damage, always good. So anytime you have a damage type person, crit damage, he's going to be able to do a lot more damage. Accuracy, you don't really need if you're going to solely bring him in just for the decreased defense. There's a lot more champions in the game that can give you the decreased defense. So you're not really focused on the accuracy. Resistance, I've never seen a resistance Rotos. I don't know. I can't really suggest that for him. Lifesteal is perfect for him in PvE content. Being able to just heal back up above 50%, making him that much more unkillable. Great for Griffin. He could almost like solo the Griffin if you bring him in a relentless set. So him beating 90 Griffin hard, I think I have a video on it, but putting him in relentless set or a lifesteal set with War Master. So putting War Master on him, because one hit he's able to do that much damage and then heal himself all the way back up and then not die because he won't get one-shotted. So very, very good for PvE lifesteal set. Let me make myself smaller because I'm way too big for this. Come on. Okay, so this one, Fury, damage increased by HP decreases. I haven't tested this out, but this would be pretty cool because you're always going to be at like 50% HP. So this could be good. I'd rather just have Savage though. Ignore this one. Haven't tried this on Rotos, but if you do get attacked, you have a 20% chance to freeze the target. Makes you do 20% less damage though. 10% increase turn meter by 5% HP loss. This probably isn't a bad one for him either. Heals by 15% every turn. I would skip this for him. Actually, possibly, if you're going to go really high HP build with him and you want to heal 15% of his HP every turn, not bad. If you can have more of a damage dealer, you can ignore this set. Immunity you don't need unless you're facing a PvP team that your whole team is immune, which most of the time you're not. Shield set, I would ignore. Relentless, this is probably the number 2 set for him. If you're brand new, aim for this set if you can't get Savage, but this set is definitely the number 2 set for Rotos. Super great in PvE, super great in PvP, super fun. This is probably the number 1 set for Rotos. Being able to give him 25% ignore damage or defense on top of his already ignoring 60% defense is ignoring 85% defense off the bat. He's just going to one-shot most of the people you go against in your range class. Destroy set, you don't need this set unless you're fighting Scarab King. Stun set, he only has 1 attack, so and you're most of the time going to be killing people, so you don't need the stun set. Poison you don't need. You don't need this Eternal Dragon, possibly, but I probably just have Lifesteal set on him. 40% chance to reduce skill cooldown. He already has such quick skills. He's got a 2-turn and a 3-turn, so you're probably not going to be using that set that much. Sell all of this. This is obviously a very good starting set, so extra attack and ignore defense. If you have 3 sets of this on a Rotos, works just fine. So it's 15% of the target's defense, so you're up to 75% ignored with his passive. Then this one, heals and provides HP, so this is a good 2-piece set if you want to throw on him. Get a little bit more HP and healing every single turn. Attack, shield, crit rate, HP, shield. Again, if you need the crit rate, definitely throw a 2-piece of this on him. This one, again, HP, I'd rather have the heal and HP rather than the shield and HP. Speed, again, if you need more speed, this is kind of the same as the speed set up top. This one, very good. So for him to get 18 speed, 30% crit damage, and chance to proc and killable on him. So basically, he's already hard to kill with him going down to 50% and not dying. Then if you have this on him, he potentially could not die again. And then come back, kill, heal back up. Like, this is actually a really good set if you want to make a super unkilly Rotos, probably Sify team in your roster. This one I would ignore. This one is good 2-piece set if you need the HP for PvE. This one ignore. This one you can ignore. This one's pretty good. You get an extra 5% crit. You can forge these. Attack and crit rate. This one I would ignore. 12% crit. So this is the lifesteal set with 12% crit. So this is actually really good for PvE. If you have this set, definitely make it, because I had this on my ninja and it is really good. Actually, 12% crit on top of the lifesteal set is awesome. This one is mainly for tanking people, so you don't really need this set down here. The Guardian. Res, you don't need. Crit rate. This one is for the Fae, so you have to be farming Fae, which is pretty hard unless you do a manual to get this. But this is probably the #1 set for him in the game, which I might have to actually start farming this set, because that extra 10% crit, you can put more into crit damage, you can put more into attack. Like, you can sub that 10 crit rate that I have here into another stat. So yeah, this is probably the best one for him. This is #1. Savage #2, Relentless #3, #4, the other one that has Unkillable. This one's random and this one's random. This is from the new Hydra boss, but nobody's doing Hydra right now. So yeah, those are my suggestions, guys. Let me know what you guys thought about what you run Rotos for. Is Rotos one of your favorite characters like he is mine? We have a 2 Rotos, 1 Sify video out there. I'll link it at the end. And then this one is in a Savage as well. I'd actually switched both mine into Savages a little bit ago, and I don't regret it at all. 2 of them on a PvP team is sick. This one has 30,000 HP, 4,600 attack, 97 crit, 248 crit damage, and 199 speed. So look at those, and then let's look at this one. 33k HP, 5,000 attack, 200 speed, 103 crit, 225 crit damage. Like, great stats. If I can get more attack on him, I wish I could. So I could lose 13% crit rate if I get that other set on him. So that might be pretty cool. So you can actually do, for the banner, you can do HP, you can do attack. Like I said, you kind of want 50-50. So if you have an HP banner, HP ring, instead of the attack ring, you can actually throw that on your Rotos and not feel bad about it. So let me know what you thought about the how-to gear guide. We have a bunch of guides coming out. I got like 10 videos we gotta post. How-to gear guide on Sandlash, Doom Priest, Seeker, Shaman, Stag Knight, Deacon, and then a whole bunch of full guides as well. So we're gonna do a full guide, PvP guide. We're gonna do a couple videos actually. We're gonna start a whole 3v3 video Ascenda on this account. So we're gonna be trying to help as many people as I possibly can. 20 bucks, fuck that. As I possibly can on 3v3s. So guys, appreciate it. Thanks for clicking on the video. See you in another video soon, and good luck with everything. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.